Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Brzozowski, advisor to Ignite, investor in NeoClouds, longtime infrastructure, now AI infrastructure. It's my pleasure to be here with Julie from Cerebres. Julie, what a day.
Yeah, lovely to be here, John. Thanks so much for having me.
Pleasure. So let's lead it off. Tell us, give us your view of this fantastic news. As an aside, as I mentioned to you, leading up to the taping here today, I'm a huge fan. Mr. Feldman, so impressed.
Yes.
Investor as well. Full disclosure. What a wonderful company Cerebres is. Such an amazing, so amazing to see the partnership with AMD. In your words, tell us more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, thank you so much for your kind words about Cerebres. I did bring our amazing chip with me today. This is the Wafer-scale engine, and this is our technology that we're famous for, that we created the company for 10 years ago. And today we were able to have a wonderful announcement here at AMD's Advancing AI conference about a new partnership and collaboration that we're embarking on with our partner AMD to build disaggregated inference. And we can talk about what that is, but basically it's a way to offer the fastest AI speeds to the most number of users possible by bringing together the complementary benefits of AMD's Helios solution with our Cerebres technology.
Unbelievable. A match made in heaven.
Yeah.
I look back, Julie, to work that I had done in the past, between Microsoft and AMD and other companies that AMD had done business with, including folks like ZT Systems. And I can't help but to say, what a match made in heaven. Really kind of completing the trifecta for success. Think about the products and SKUs that AMD brings to the table, now powered by Cerebres, and the ability to build rack level systems is really what we've all seen as a necessity. Building silicon alone, as you and Andrew I'm sure would agree, is just not enough. Being able to operationalize those that technology, those innovations, and deploy them to do exactly what you just described verbally here and in the press release today with Lisa, right? It's a big deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, today's partnership is so exciting because, as you said, John, it's not just about one part. It's not just about having the fastest chip. In order to really scale the speed of Cerebres to as many developers and engineers as possible, we really do need to think about rack scale, cloud scale, hyperscale, right? Infrastructure building. And this is why we're just so excited to partner with AMD. Their Helios solution is really impressive. It's faster than other competing solutions on the market. It's truly a best of breed rack scale solution for this part of AI inference called prefill. Yes, and so that's the whole disaggregated inference magic, is you're using the best hardware to solve these two different phases of inference. We're using AMD for prefill, and we're using Cerebres for decode.
Interesting. So for the audience, and maybe a little bit for myself, maybe we could double click a little bit on prefill, right? Make sure that everybody has working off the same sheet of music, and then I have a whole host of other kind of discussion points for us around that.
So prefill, let's just step back. Inference, right? What is inference? Inference is the portion of compute that you have to use to actually use AI. Okay, so training is the compute that you use to build the AI model, and inference is to actually use the AI. And when we think about inference, it's broken down into prefill and decode. And what prefill is it's the compute-intensive part of inference. It's that part of when you're waiting for the prompt, you fill in, right? You're basically filling in your question or your query, and you're providing context to the model. So that's all this inputting, right? That's what we mean prefill. We're pre-filling the prompt, and that requires compute. And GPU style compute, the kind of compute that AMD is so amazing at making, especially at large scale, is very, very good, very effective, very efficient at running that prefill phase. Okay. And then there's the decode portion, and this is where, you know, the Cerebres technology, I'll just hold it up because I just love my chip so much. We are powering the fastest decode. Decode is basically the portion of this usage of AI where you're providing the tokens, you're providing the response or the answer. That's the decode. And Cerebres is the fastest decode, right? So then you have the most efficient prefill plus the fastest, most efficient decode, and you basically have the best of both worlds for computing inference.
Makes 100% sense to me. I sincerely appreciate making sure that we have all that background. As I take a step back and I think about the three legs to a stool, right? And really now we're putting the seat on, right? So they can really kind of continue to make the magic happen.
Yes.
As you from Cerebres look at this partnership, anything jump to mind as it pertains to the area from AMD that offers? I mean, you talked a lot about their components and et cetera. What else about that relationship, maybe even operationally, do you think makes a big difference? And here's why I ask. Having done work with other silicon, right? Watching how painful things like cable back planes are, liquid cooling, power to the rack, actually engineering the rack level systems to make them deployable. There's a lot of things that people took for granted, in kind of other types of implementations. Highlights from your perspective, not just from a technology perspective, but from a holistic point of view, as AMD as a company and Cerebres as a company.
Yes.
Top couple of items that come to your mind?
Yeah. So I think the reason why we're so compatible, is because both of us have rack scale solutions. So the Helios solution is rack scale AI inference computing, right? It's just massively scalable, 72 AMD GPUs, really designed for hyperscale. Similarly, Cerebres is a rack scale solution. So both of us have solved for the liquid cooling, the power efficiency, the power management, right? The networking. We've got that all kind of taken care of. And then what we're both really good at is complementary, the prefill, the decode. So we're going to still need to do some engineering, but at this point, it's about just connecting our racks. And then what the benefit of that is going to be, because you could actually do all of inference with just one or just the other, but by marrying the two, we're getting 5 times the throughput. What does 5 times the throughput mean? It means 5 times the number of users can benefit from the fastest speed and the most efficient prefill.
So
5 times.
So in the future, there's probably a really good integration story that comes from this as a follow-on, right? To really show the market how this integrated approach between Cerebres and AMD is effectively facilitating the delivery of that value.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, we're all about open collaboration. We are not believers in closed gardens, neither of us. It's a very welcomed and unique message in this market that we live in today. I think that will resonate with a lot of people. I hope so. I mean, I come from a background of open source. So I used to work at Yahoo back in the day, at Mozilla, right, with the Firefox browser. And on behalf of developers, I've been working on behalf of developers for almost 20 years. And open technology is really the best way to accelerate innovation.
Yep.
And when you accelerate innovation, you just get to disruption faster.
100%.
Otherwise, it's kind of status quo.
Also helps to enable some competition, which is very healthy, right?
Yeah.
It's very good, yeah. I mean, and I think you guys are evidence of that, and what you're doing is, very, it's welcomed and I think invited in the market as it is today, right? Let me pivot, Julie, if you don't mind,
Sure.
with a separate set. So we talk about disaggregation. I've been living in this world where we have massive data centers, tens of megawatts, hundreds of megawatts, gigawatts, you know, the power required, I mean, yeah, and a lot of that came at the hands of, some of the biggest consumers to fuel some of their training aspirations. The, the, the complexion on the inferencing side, like the way you're describing, is a bit different, right? Do you see deployment models changing as part of the work that you're doing with AMD and the innovation that Cerebres is bringing to the table? Do you see more, so you mentioned distributed, but do you see distribution in a smaller power footprint? Any thoughts there?
Well, I think that this is definitely more power efficient because what we're doing is we're increasing throughput by 5 times.
Yep.
So for the same footprint, you put these 2 racks together, you're getting 5 times the number of users making use of these incredibly fast inference solutions. So when you 5x for the same amount of power, even if it's double the power, it's still overall a 2.5x gain.
Absolutely.
And so that is the benefit of disaggregated. When you bring in and it works, you get more throughput. You don't sacrifice the performance, so the tokens aren't slow. In fact, the tokens might even be 15, 20 times faster than you could have gotten with just a GPU solution. So I think in terms of deployment, this is all about increasing power efficiency.
Yep.
There's only so many data centers in the world. So what we want to do is really get the maximum tokens per time per watt.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
It's such a hot topic, Julie. Everybody's. I mean, data centers are all over the news. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Probably get a bum rap. Unnecessarily on many occasions because people just don't understand, right? But this concept of efficiency, doing, really maximizing those footprints, I mean, it resonates with, with people on layman's terms, right? So, as I look across the landscape, even outside of this conversation and look about all these conversations, you hear all these announcements about it, gigawatt campus here and 100 megawatts there, it's optimistic to conceive of what could result by making more efficient use of those data centers, powered by Cerebres.
Yes.
So that's I think welcome on many fronts, right?
Right. I mean, we saw this company. We started 10 years ago, John, and when we started 10 years ago, there were already companies, right, like NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, giants of silicon and semiconductors, right? These companies are 50 years old, 30-something years old. This is like a fraction of the time that we've been around. But the benefit of being new and taking a blank slate approach to a problem like AI computing is that you can kind of rethink everything. And when our founders designed this technology, they were thinking about efficiency. Like they knew, okay, AI is a new kind of problem. It's going to be very compute intensive, and we have limited space on the planet and limited power, and we want to be really good custodians of nature. How can we design technology where people are still benefiting from AI, but in the really the wisest, most efficient way? And we went bigger because this is actually more tokens, more speed, so more work that you can do, but in a third of the power.
It really seems that the work that you've done, the work that we're talking about today, will scratch many itches, right?
That's the hope.
Yep. Everything from what you're talking about, environmental concerns, power consumption, performance. I think there's something in it for everybody. So let's talk about what's next. So pretty amazing partnership.
Yeah.
Still a lot of work to be done, just like any
Sure.
partnership, always, right? Any predictions? Any kind of thoughts on the future? Where do we go from here? I hope I'll have the honor someday of being back here again with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe even meeting Andrew in person and shaking his hand.
Yeah.
But please, would love to get your thoughts on, predictions even, like what happens next? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year down the road, right?
Right. Well, definitely one prediction that I'm pretty confident about is what we shared, which is that we'll be delivering our disaggregated solution in production this year. So we're bringing Helios into our Cerebres cloud data centers, and we'll be offering that combined solution to our customers by before the end of 2026. So that's a promise. All right. So hold us to it. And so we're super excited because our engineers have been working together, and we're going to continue to just really grind and just work together on this and then ship something that's useful. And I think the prediction here is if you can really make more developers go faster, like more developers, 5 times more. The number of developers on the planet right now is about 20 million. And so throughput, if you just think about it simply, you're 5xing, right? So what if you could increase that number of developers in the form of agents to 100 million developers, right? What if you had 100 million engineers doing all of these tasks? What kind of innovation will come from that? More, I would think.
Almost unimaginable.
Right.
I think about Julie. It's already end of July. I'm a huge fan and a huge believer. Your promise, I know you'll keep, and you're already halfway through 2026, and these are pretty bold promises. But with everything that Cerebres has delivered, I'll be the first to say, can't wait to see it happen. Right? I mean, just absolute amazingness coming from the news today.
Thank you, John. Well, we look forward to getting back in touch and giving you an update.
We cannot wait. Julie, thank you so much for your time. It's really been an honor to have you here. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And we'll be watching.
Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.